Okay, I pressed the record button. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I was not expecting to make this video. I'm actually shaking right now and I'm really cold, and I don't know if that's because I've had so much coffee today or if I'm actually really nervous, but I'm pretty sure I'm nervous. First off, happy National Coming Out Day. That is the reason why I am posting this video today. I've been thinking about it all day if I should film this video and share my coming out story, and just questioned if I'm actually ready to share it yet. It's been almost 2 years since I've officially come out to my family, and I think if I'm not ready now to share this with my channel, then I don't know if I ever will be. My life has changed so much since I came out to my friends and family, and I think it's about time that I share the full timeline of things and my story. Before we get into the video, I just want to welcome those who are new here. Hi, welcome. If you've never been here before, my name is Alyssa Camille, and I am so happy to have you in this video. This video is very monumental to who I am and my channel, so I hope you consider subscribing down below. Okay, you guys, so going into my coming out story, and before I get into the actual timeline of things, I'm going to just say it. I actually do not believe in coming out. I know you guys are probably thinking, like, how do you not believe in coming out? That seems almost as if like an insult to the community, and by no means do I mean to dishonor the act of coming out. Allow me to explain. I don't believe in coming out and declaring my sexuality and having to explain who I love, why I love them, why I am who I am, because if you are straight, quote unquote, you didn't have to do that either. For me, what I would rather do is I'd rather introduce someone, male or female, as who I love, which at this point would be female, as the person I'm dating, the person I want to spend my life with, the person I am spending time with, introduce them as my girlfriend or my partner, and let them figure the rest out. So, I just wanted to say that before my video. It may be contradictory to the fact that I am sharing this video and the timeline of things, but I know that I think it's time for me to share my story, and I'm shaking in my seat right now as I say this. And also, before I get into the rest of this video, I never actually had one monumental moment where I came out to everyone. I never had a viral YouTube video telling people that I'm gay. I never posted a Facebook status sharing my story and coming out of the closet. I've had to come out to multiple people at different times in my life that have been very monumental to the way that I've been shaped into the person who I am today. So with that said, let's just get straight into the video and the full timeline of my coming out story. Alright, so I feel like I don't even know how to explain the beginning of my story because I was so young, but what I can say is that I started feeling attracted to females all the way from kindergarten. Now, I won't get into the specifics of this because it's kind of embarrassing. Okay, I will get into somewhat of specifics because I feel like for a lot of people, it does start as young as kindergarten, as far back as their memory can go. So when I was in kindergarten, I cannot believe I'm sharing this, my best friend and I had the same crush, quote unquote. She had a crush on this boy, and I don't know why, for some reason I said I had a crush on him too. I don't remember actually having a crush on him, but because my best friend was so cool, I just wanted to be like her. Well, we would hang out and she would say, let's practice kissing so that when we kiss this boy, we know what we're doing. And as graphic as that may be, I'm so sorry, but that's as far back as it goes, and that's just stating the facts of where my initial journey began. Moving on. Throughout elementary school, throughout middle school, I never really was exposed or had opportunity, being that young, to feel attracted to a female. But I do remember when I was in middle school, I'm just gonna embarrass myself through this entire video, but it's who I am. So I would have crushes in middle school and on girls, and they would be in school, they would be on church retreats, and I'm going to hell. It was never confusing. I was never scared. I never questioned what I was feeling. I just knew that I was attracted to girls but just never acted upon it because I never acted upon anything, whether a boy or a girl. All I knew is that when I would feel attracted to a girl in middle school or middle school through high school was that I know I probably shouldn't talk to her, like she'd probably think I'm weird. But it wasn't until high school when I remember watching TV and I didn't know that what I was feeling was wrong until there would be like two women or two men kissing on the TV screen and I would hear my mom go, ew, gross, like, and just like make these remarks, and I was like, whoa. And for some reason I would feel angry whenever she would say that. Like I would get mad. Like, why does it matter like that they love each other or that they're doing that? I'm sure that however it was displayed on TV was in like a very sexual way, but that's all I knew. But growing up when I was in high school, I started to learn that homosexuality was against the religion that I was brought up in. I did grow up in a Christian family. I grew up going to church every Sunday, sometimes Wednesday, singing in the church, volunteering in the church, leading small groups, going on mission trips. I was a church girl. And my sexuality or those feelings of attraction would happen very sparingly throughout my life. So every single day I didn't think about it, but if there was someone specifically who would walk into my life, which would be like one person every 4 years, I would like recognize it and then just be distracted and forget that I was feeling that way. It's important for me to share this timeline because a lot of people think that it's just a phase. Although my girl crushes would happen sparingly throughout my life, I wouldn't consider my entire life a phase of being attracted to women. I just am. A phase is a short amount of time where you're confused about something, where you're going through something, but I've been going through this my whole life. It's not a phase. But again, I was never confused about it. I was never scared. I just knew that I'm not actually allowed to do it, but I wasn't ever really mad about it or upset about it until later on in my life. When I was in high school, there was one significant crush who I actually did initiate things with once I was out of high school, when I was going to my first year of college. And I was in a relationship at that time. I had a boyfriend, but I knew something was missing. I knew what I was feeling and I needed these questions answered. And she was one of the very few gay people that I went to school with. And anonymously, I would ask her questions about being gay, and eventually she found out who I was via Tumblr. And funny story, she actually ended up breaking my heart at that time, and it hurt so bad being your first girl heartbreak, but then we actually ended up dating a few years later. So that was the first experience I ever had initiating or questioning or, really starting to explore my sexuality, I guess you can say, right before I moved to San Francisco, my first year of college. Moving on, I know a lot of you know that I did date boys. I had crushes on boys. I dated guys. I've had serious relationship with guys. And I'm not going to go into the specifics of every relationship, but I will say that when it came to dating guys, I really believe that they were the only options. I grew up in Michigan and there just wasn't any opportunity. There wasn't, like I said, me being attracted to a female was very sparingly throughout my life because I have a very, very specific type. And just never so often that kind of person would come along. And not many people were out or gay, especially during the time period that I was growing up. It just wasn't as common as it is today. So when it came to dating guys, I'll say that I was just going through the motions of things. I was acting upon the hormones that I was feeling as a teenager. I was just looking for acceptance and love because I'll tell you guys that I was so weird growing up. All I wanted was to be cool. All I wanted was to fit in. I only cared about how I looked and I only cared about boys because those were the only people who were giving me attention. I will admit I tried way too hard for acceptance. And if I got that from anyone, mostly a boy, then I would take it. The last man that I was with, before we get into the uglier side of my coming out story, everything I've shared so far is really just a background on what it was like for me growing up. But the last man that I was with, unfortunately, was dragged through the mud through the moment in time where I knew it was time for me to be me. And when I was with him, I knew that just something wasn't clicking and I wasn't being true to myself. I knew exactly what it was that was missing in our relationship. It was hard. The only reason why that was hard was because I was hurting someone that I still loved and genuinely cared about. It was only fair to him. It was only fair to myself that I live out my truth of who I am and who I'm supposed to be. And I have to say that when it comes to fully being able to love a man, it's just not in my nature. It's not in the signs of my body, and I wouldn't be true to myself and who I am. I wouldn't be living in my truth and honest about the life I want to live if I was hiding that and pushing that under the rug, which leads me to the first person I ever came out to. I ended up moving from Michigan to San Francisco. San Francisco being the #1 gay city in the whole country. There, I was free. Again, I've never been confused about my sexuality, but there, opportunities were given. There were more gay women walking around, and the first one I saw, I acted upon it. I told her, I want you, and that's it. And she ended up being my girlfriend. And I was out. I was proud when I lived in San Francisco. And I was there because I was safe. Because my friends weren't there, my family wasn't there, and the friends that I did have there, it was normal because we were living in San Francisco. This is where it got really tough because I would fly back home to Michigan back and forth for the holidays, to visit, whatever it was. And they knew that me and my ex-boyfriend broke up, but they didn't understand why, because he was such a good boyfriend and such a good man that it just, out of nowhere, there was no actual reason. Living in San Francisco, I was in a relationship with a woman, very serious about it from the beginning, but I would go home, try to answer those questions as to why me and my ex-boyfriend weren't together anymore, act straight as a pole. Little did they know, I was living with my girlfriend at the time in San Francisco, who they thought was just a normal roommate, and that pole had a rainbow flag at the end of it. Now, the first person I actually came out to was my best friend at the time. I am no longer friends with this person, and I don't even think that they know that this was such a monumental moment for me that really influenced the conversation about me being gay with other people moving on. I called up my best friend one day, and I was so excited about my relationship. I was so happy with this woman I was dating. I called her, and I wasn't ready to say I'm gay or I'm a lesbian. I said to her, I'm dating a woman. And she said, what? And that was already hard to spit out. And I told her I was dating a woman. And I was so excited to tell her. But then what she said back to me was, this would never have happened if you moved to San Francisco. You need to come home. And my heart just broke. And it was so hurtful. I thought that out of anyone that I could tell, it would be her. And that just completely shut me down. We ended up not being friends for a while after that. We're actually not anymore. But that kept me quiet. That is the first moment that I ever actually felt scared to tell someone, to come out. I knew that me growing up in a Christian family, mostly my whole family was very involved in the church. Yes, that was another reason, but that kind of just scared me overall. Now, I'm not gonna go into too much what it was like coming out to every single person with my friends and family, but that moment was very monumental because that kept me quiet for years. And I didn't come out to my family or friends until 4 years after that phone call. And within that 4 years, I had to go through not only did I have to go through experiencing my sexuality alone and never feeling confused, but still questioning if I should just put this aside for someone else's comfort, but I had to go through really hard relationships. I went through depression because of the person I was dating. I had to go through an abusive relationship alone because I couldn't tell anyone who I was dating and what I was going through because it was a girl. I went through And that was one of the hardest times of my life. It was the hardest time of my life because I had no one to go to. No one. No one who was familiar. No one who was from home that knew where I come from and knew what I grew up to be to actually find comfort. I had 2 amazing friends who were there for me throughout these hard times that I owe my life to, for rescuing me and saving me throughout the times that I needed them. But for things like this, sometimes you need family and the people who know you best. And because I was so afraid for them to know that I was dating a woman, I had to go through so much depression on my own. Oh, God. Ugh. Do I even have tissues? I don't. Oh my God. So, before I get into the rest of my story, I just would like to say that if someone comes out to you and shares their heart and are honest and shares their soul, please don't turn them away. I pray for a world that allows a safe space for people to just share their heart, because no one deserves to go through anything alone, whatever it is. So if someone opens up to you, please just create a safe space for them. I had a beautiful floor-to-ceiling window apartment in the middle of the city with a huge balcony. And there were so many times where I would stand at the edge of that balcony feeling trapped in this relationship, because I'm not gonna go into too much, but I was in this relationship, I was stuck, and I was told that if I told my family or friends the truth about what I was going through and what I was dealing with in that relationship, they would blackmail me and tell them that I was gay. And for some reason, that fear and I was so afraid of her telling my family that I was gay, to disappoint my parents and my friends, that I was willing to go through all of that abuse for their comfort. Oh my God, my lashes. Now, moving on from that relationship, I did get myself out. I found the strength to get out of that. Fast forwarding, I had a few relationships until I officially came out to my family. And when I did, about almost 2 years ago, I first told my cousins, and they knew. The girl I was bringing around, it was very obvious her sexuality, and what I said to them was, you guys know I have too many shoes, I have way too many clothes in my closet to be in here anymore. And I just want you guys to know that I just love people. And I told them on New Year's Eve, and I cried, and they told me they loved me, and they accepted me, and they knew, and it was like so awesome, and just such a great way to start off a new year. Again, that was probably like the biggest moment. I won't get into the dynamics of my family because that is very private, but what I will say is it was hard because I grew up in a Christian family, and we're still making progress today. And that leads me to today, to where I am. And that leads me to where I am now, dating the most amazing person. And being with her, it all makes sense. I really do believe that she's my game changer. I really do believe that she is the reason why I am who I am. And I love the way I love because I was meant to love this person. And the person who I am with now is someone who I hope I get to love for the rest of my life. Coming out is a new experience every single time. I have to come out to so many different people because it's not as obvious being a feminine woman. But I can say that it has changed so many relationships, good and bad, but the good make up so much for the bad. I know that I am being my authentic self. I am being honest with who I am, and that has allowed so many awesome and fulfilling relationships for people to be honest with who they are with me. And ever since I've been completely out, the conversations and the relationships that I've had just are just so much more fulfilling and so much more authentic than what they would have ever been if I wasn't being true to myself, let alone true to them. So you guys, looking back at the timeline of things and the monumental moments of when I did come out, there have been a lot of really hard times that have shaped me into who I am today, but it has given me so much strength and so much bravery to live as loudly as I can and be proud of who I am. I simply chose to not hide the person that I was in love with anymore, because whoever I am in love with, they deserve the recognition from my family, from my friends, as someone who I really love and care about. And I chose to live in my truth and be honest with who I am with people and not live a double life from one end of the country to another. I've learned that if you love someone, you will really accept them for all that they are, all who they are, and you should be excited for them to be in love and have someone who cares and loves them so much. I will never understand why there are people in the world who wouldn't want that for someone else. So you guys, that pretty much wraps up my coming out story. I share a lot of my experiences being a lesbian woman on my channel, from story times to travel videos to the struggles of being who I am. So make sure to check out those videos on my channel if you want to know more about my journey today. This video was not easy to make. I was not expecting to get as emotional as I did, but I am so ready for the world to know my story. With growing up so weird and wanting to be accepted and just always wanting to fit in, I realized that I am not meant to be, and that this platform, that being an advocate for LGBTQ rights, is where I know I will be accepted and where I know I can finally be my authentic self, and it's where my voice will finally be heard and where I know I belong. To all of you, thank you so much for watching this video. It is so special, so monumental, and please give this video a thumbs up if I actually upload it, because I am still shaking at the thought of editing and uploading this video. But if you are new here, I hope you consider subscribing to my channel. All of my socials will be linked below. Kisses to all my rainbow hearts around the world, and I will see you guys in the next video.